What's up? What's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's see. Okay, let's see who is getting in this room, and we are about to change. What's up? Wait till we get a few people in here, and then we'll get started. All right, welcome back, you guys. Welcome back. You need a shout out. All right, let's go, guys. Let's get some thumbs up. Hey, I got my shelves up. All right, wait. Oh, you know what? You know what? You just remembered. All right, don't make me hit this. Don't make me do it. Oh, I just knocked something over. We getting fancy now. All right. Since the last time that I seen you guys last week, I've done a lot of upgrading in here. It has been a lot of work. Believe it or not, a couple $1,000. It's so easy to spend money on YouTube stuff, I swear. But the microphone that you're hearing, how does it sound? How does it sound? Staten Island, New York in the house. What's up, man? What's up, Paulo? What's up, Gene the Barber? Hey, you checked out them 50 cal mag also. I have a pair of those, and yeah, I could definitely talk about them. But like, I got like a huge announcement to make. Damn, we already got 36 people in the house. Cool. Okay, so can everybody hear my mic pretty good? Can everybody hear it? This is a brand new mic. This is a whole different setup. And before I like go long, just give me a let me know if you can hear my mic. I think it should be good. It is hanging from the jankiest of things. Well, you guys want to see this? You know, this is like ridiculous. All right, my mic is hanging from a ring light. We've done a lot of stuff to get this right. So the other cool thing that we got going on here is I actually have another camera view. Bam, the board. And we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see how my mic is looking here. Let's see. Clear audio. Good. Okay, because if this audio isn't buttery smooth for what I paid for this microphone and what I did for the setup, I'm like using a Zoom H6. I'm doing all this crazy stuff. This is all new to me, so you guys are going to have to bear with me. Oh, you know what? I didn't even turn on my fill light. Let's go. Okay, so let's go back to the other camera. And I want to share with you guys what I got going on here. All right. So we have a big announcement to make. All right. If you guys look in the link in the description, I wrote like a novel because actually I was thinking about writing a book to start this out. Now I'm going to keep the Q&A to a limit for a minute until I get what I want to get out. All right. So the first thing that I want to share with you guys is this is now going to become a true Barber School live. Okay. So we are going to be using a syllabus. And I'm going to teach you guys just the same way that I did when I was teaching at the Divinity Spring School for the past 10 years. So if you guys click the link in the description, you scroll all the way down, you're going to see the syllabus and you're going to see what we are going to cover today, which includes this right here. So the introduction to prismatics is going to take some time. I have me some tools here and we are going to talk about everything. Hey, my mom's in the house, Maria Morawski. What's up, mama? Good to see you. All right, so we're going to talk about some of these different tools that I got sitting here. I got a bunch of stuff that I want to go through. And what I'm going to call this is phase 1. So if you guys want to take a little screenshot of what's up on the screen, or if you just want to check down in the comment section, you're going to see that as well. So what I actually want to do is I want to do the Q&A section in a little while. And I want to just get started kind of teaching on what I'm talking to you guys about with phase 1. And I really didn't get a whole lot of time. I prepped this show pretty good. It has been a lot of work. It has been a lot of work. And just so you guys know, I prepped this show pretty good. We're going to have an awesome time tonight. And I'm really excited. We already got 50 people in the house. Let's go. I mean, really, let's go. This is awesome. So I'm actually going to jump over to a YouTube finished project that I just threw together real quick for a quick, let's see here, if this is it. Okay, here we go. Okay, you guys, just so you know, what's going on here is going to be the debulking process. We're going to be using some tools. We're going to be going through this entire process. Now, this is what I'm going to start calling you guys phase one. Now, before this really goes too far here, I just want to mention to you guys that I know that not everybody can afford to go to barber school, and I know not every barber school can afford to have a good teacher. And I know that some of you guys are going to really benefit from this if you are in this business, if you are actually practicing, if you are actually trying to become a barber. I really don't care whether you're trying to get your license or not. I want to help you anyways. It doesn't make a difference to me. Whatever you want to do, we're going to go through this whole thing together and we're going to learn. We're going to start this from the ground up. So that's pretty much the spiel here, because it's going to be awesome. So what we're going to do here, we're going to get through this phase one. And phase one, to me, it just means the debulking process, what we debulk with, how we hold our tools, how we arrive to the next stage, which would be phase two, which is actually going to be the phase. And so once we remove all this bulk, you guys see that I'm using a 5-0. I've talked about this a whole lot. And you know, we're going to be making sure that we show everybody what we're doing here and how I can make this a lot easier for you. So I know that all of you guys might be struggling with something. I know that all of you guys might need help with something, and this is going to be the time and this is going to be the place. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and it really is time, because I think school is actually in session. So the very first thing I want to start with, and let's jump on out of this thing and let's go back to me. All right, we're going to go back to that in just a second. I got the power to do such a crazy amount of stuff now. Like, you guys can kind of see what's coming. I'm so excited to show you guys, like, the ideas that I have are just flowing out of my head. They're flowing out of my head, and I got plenty of them. So let's start with the top thing here is going to be the introduction to prismatics, which it just simply means, all it simply means is introducing you to your tools and what tools you should be using for what application. So what I actually have here is screwing up. Okay. What I have here is we're going to start with something simple. We're actually going to start with the comb. We're going to start with the scissors. Okay. A lot of you guys out there, I see a lot of barbers really struggling to use the scissors, and I really don't know why this is such an epidemic. And for whatever reason, whenever I talk about scissors on my channel, I mean, people start disappearing real quick. I mean, look at this. They're going to jump from 57 to 61. So anyways, I'm glad you guys are sticking around. Let's get a couple thumbs up going, man. Help me share this video. Help me get this information out. A couple more thumbs up. There's 61 of you guys in here, and that is a record for me. So I'm going to get, at one point, I'm going to get like 1,000 people in here. That would be the goal. So we're going to actually hold our scissors like this. The ring finger, okay? The ring finger on your dominant hand is going to go through here, pinky on the tang, and your thumb is going to then go in the hole. But your thumb is actually never in the hole for very long, and we're going to learn how to palm our shears. So we're going to try this exercise. If you guys are at home and you have access to any of your stuff, what I want you to try to do is I want you to try to comb, palm, cut. Okay, so the motion is fairly simple. I know I'm doing it quick, but as we hold it, we're going to roll it back in our hand, so we're making a fist, and then we have these 3 fingers active. This is something that I see a lot of students struggle with. They wind up using their front 2 fingers, and they're like, why, Ed? Why do we need to do this? Well, I'll tell you why. You can't possibly hold your comb and your scissors at the same time. You're going to just struggle with it, okay? So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to learn how to palm it. So this is the comb. We palm it in our other hand. We cut, and then we close our hand again. So that's the move, and you guys got to learn to stick to that, because it's actually going to be a little difficult for you guys at first. And every once in a while, when I forget how difficult it was for me, I actually do it with my left hand, because it reminds me of just how difficult that really was. So pretty much predominantly what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you guys how to actually cut hair when you get out of school. You don't know as much as you feel like you need to. You don't have the confidence that you feel like you need. So I want to give you the confidence going forward. That's kind of where this is aimed towards. This is not going to give you any accreditation. This is not going to give you any help on really passing your state board. And in the future, I actually might do some videos on that kind of stuff. But this is just dedicated to help you actually learn all the stuff you care about without all the filler that we were taught in school. Because mainly we were taught in school how to pass a test. That was the deal with school. We really weren't taught how to survive after school, what to do to build clients, how to work, how to learn how to do all the styles, how to get people to start trusting you. These kind of things are important. So back to it. These are the two main tools that I use. One is the clipper comb. One is the clipper comb. Okay. This is what we're going to be using it. We're going to be using it for any kind of clipper over comb, any kind of thing like that. And this is kind of an important concept for you guys to understand, because the back of this comb is essentially about the width of a 1 1/2, which we are going to get to that in just a second as well. So when we are actually using this, we're mainly going to be using this when we're doing the debulking, or possibly some scissor over comb or some shear over comb. So with these shears, I'm not sponsored by Shear Police or anything like that. These guys were super cool with me at the show, and they sent me these shears. And I'm telling you, this has been a year I've been using them. They got the swivel thumb. I absolutely love them. So shearpolice.com, if you guys want to check these guys out, they're freaking awesome. I really, really like these shears. And it's really important that you learn how to keep a straight wrist when you cut. So if you notice my wrist isn't really bent, a lot of you guys are cutting hair like this, and I'm telling you right now, you're not going to last that long in this business. You're going to wind up with carpal tunnel. You're going to wind up with issues. So this clipper comb, and we're going to get more into scissor work. That's a little bit further down the road, but I'm just trying to introduce you to some of your tools and what you're going to need to use them for. Now this comb, this is very cool. This is for 72 people, 29 thumbs up. I'm stoked. I'm so stoked, man. This is just so cool. All right. So on to the next thing. This comb here is going to be helping you do all your detail work. You're going to be using this during edge ups. You're going to be using this to fine tune those fades and those blends. And this is actually a comb that I use to do a lot of trimmer over comb. So you see, I've been rocking with the Gamma Absolute Hitter. And for you guys that don't know or haven't followed the channel before, on 614 Barber Supply or Gamma, if you use the code Eddie, you'll get a discount. And it helps to support the channel. Because as I told you guys, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put a lot of work into my lives, man. This is going to be where the bulk of the concentration goes for my channel going forward, period. So we're going to be here throwing down these fire shows, and I'm going to have other videos to back it up, play them live, and tell you exactly how I feel in real time. A lot of people can't do this, man. Like, a lot of people can't do this. I'm telling you right now, they can't do it live. I've been doing this 17 years. I could talk about this till I'm blue in the face. So where we're at now, we're talking about the fine tuning that you can do with this comb. I do not care about any other combs in barbering. I could use these two for the rest of my life and I'll never have a problem. Okay? So the next thing that we're going to be getting into is there is a epidemic that goes around. Let's see if I can find it, where we need to hold this clipper flat. Okay, I'm gonna throw this over here for a second. All right. Now, give me a second. I gotta see if I can. Now, I have the Andis Masters cordless sitting right here. And you guys will notice that I got a rubber band on it. I've actually come to really, really like this rubber band. It's giving me just that little extra bit of grip. I don't need the whole thing to be full of like a big grip and make it bigger. Or, like, I've actually, this is my style. So when you see people starting to do this, you know, just know that I started it, all right? I started this little rubber band thing. But I'm actually going to start putting just rubber bands on everything. I think it's fun. But, all right, let's get into what I'm trying to tell you about. This blade, specifically this blade, has a curve in it, right? All right, this is where people make a mistake. These blades are all dirty. I just grabbed them and ran out the shop. It was a busy ass day, and I ran out the shop. But this blade has a curve in it. So when I tell you guys to hold your blades flat, this is the main mistake. If I'm dropping any knowledge right now, you need to listen to this. If you're not fading properly, there's a pretty good chance that the main mistake that you're making is this one right here. Now, when you are trying to put this clipper flat up against somebody's head, it's got a curve in it, right? So this is not flat. Where's my camera at? Oh, everything's opposite. All right, so this is not flat, right? Flat is actually going to be here for this particular blade. Now, some blades are flat. Now, this one's not flat either. This one's got a slight curve in it too, but some blades are actually flat here. Now, fade blades are going to be flat, and different blades of wall. I have several, and I'll bring this up again in the future if we need to. But the problem that I see you guys doing is there's a lot of arcing and going on, because I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to listen to people who've been telling you to angle the clippers, myself included. I've done a lot of this, but what's actually happening is you're manipulating the length. So when I tell you guys this, these guards, which we're about to get into in just a second, these guards are designed by the manufacturer to make you succeed. You will actually succeed in creating a perfect fade with a combination of using the lever and with using the guard. Okay, so a combination of these two is going to help you to do any blend. And trust me, it works. There is definitely overlap. I actually had a question earlier about that. There is definitely overlap. Now, we're going to get into what that is and where that is. But as of right now, whenever you move the clipper away from a client's head, you're manipulating the length that the manufacturer intended to. So at times you're cutting too close, at times you're cutting too far. So what you need to do, and this takes practice, you need to anchor this on the side of your client's head and work up with it, and try not to leave the head too much, because as soon as you leave the head, that's when you begin manipulating the length. That's when you begin running into the problems. So this is the main problem that I see when I was teaching new barbers. This was the thing that I seen a lot of. So I just want to let you guys know that keeping that clipper flat is going to be a huge key, and I'm not going to talk about it too much more. So that's that. All right. So moving forward, just quickly, because like I said, this is episode 1. Every week, we're going to go a little bit further. We're going to get a little bit deeper into it, and I don't know how much we're going to be able to cover at a time. All right. But as it stands, this is episode 1, and this is what's going on. So the next thing that I want to direct your attention to is my camera too. So let's go. Okay, we're over here at the board, right? Now, if I stand up, I'm totally in the way. All right, I'm actually going to sit down, because this is where my microphone is. I got to get a better microphone boom. I really do. But as of right now, we're at the board, and I was working on some stuff that I wanted to bring to you guys. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to explain to you how these guards work in a really cool way. All right. So these are double magnetic guards, and again, they're curved as well, right? Now we have the 0, okay, the 1, and the 2, and this is going to get you by for like the majority of your stuff. The 0, the 1, and the 2. I actually have a few more. I got the 3 and the 4, and really beyond this, it's extremely unlikely that you're going to need anything beyond these. In fact, Andis sells a 1 1/2 as well, and it's absolutely useless. So I would never use it. I would never need it. Okay. So as we're going to go through this is really actually going to be kind of cool. What we're going to do is find my pen, and I'm just going to show you guys how these all work together, because this is like a huge question. It comes up a lot, and how does it all work together? All right. So it's very simple how this all works together. I'm actually going to remove the 4 and the 3 because that's going to give me a little bit more room. I'm going to slide these down, and the absolute shortest we can go, I'm going to go upside down here, all right? The shortest we can go is skin, right? And the next stop down, trimmer. Okay, and the next step down, we're going to say open for open taper and closed for closed taper. Okay, so let's talk about what that is real quick. Open taper, lever all the way down, and you'll notice that this blade actually travels away from this blade. That's how you know it's going to be longer. That's the open taper position, okay? Closed taper, it's as close as it can be, all right? I've heard other YouTubers refer to this as the long setting and the short setting. Now, this doesn't mean that everything you're going to do is going to be long, and this doesn't mean that everything you're going to do is going to be short. There's going to be times where you're going to use a little bit, and that's why there's all these notches, and that's why this is a fantastic clipper to learn with, and there is others out there that do this. But I'm not really out here trying to talk about too much branding stuff. I'm just trying to teach you. So here we have our 0, our 1, and our 2. Okay, so 0 closed, 0 open. And as we continue getting longer, it's going to get longer. So this is how these things work, okay? So if I was going from skin, trimmer, open, open taper, closed taper, I could do 0 open, 0 closed, 1 open, 1 closed, 2 open, 2 closed, okay? This is how they all balance with each other, because what is the point, really? What is the point of what we're trying to accomplish here? It's actually pretty simple. All these are going to balance to each other, okay? So in the in-between steps, just to be quickly and touch on this, and I'm going to take some Q&A in just a second, so if you guys want to get your comments in on your Q&A, I'm going to bring them up, because this is something I really want to hammer home, and if anybody's got any questions out there, there's probably a pretty good chance that a few people do, and they're just not asking them. So ask away. We're going to get into some Q&A in just a second, and to keep this thing here rolling, let's talk about what we're going to actually do in the in-between steps. And just a quick little shout out to my man Big Al's Barbershop. All right, Big Al's Barber Channel. If you guys are not following this guy, go do yourself a favor, follow this guy. He's an awesome dude. I think that he brings a lot of great knowledge to the table. And the coolest thing is he's actually going to be on my show next weekend. So next weekend, let's go. Big Al in the house. Show some love to this man. Go and hit that thumbs up and go and see him. And he'll be in the house next weekend. And he's going to be talking about the grind, what it takes to grow your clientele after barber school. Super important issues. So, okay, I got this one right here. Okay, beauty of scent. Why is you not using them 1 1/2 guard? Okay. I think what he means is, why am I not using the 1 1/2 guard? I'm going to get to this in just a second. We're actually going to get into what happens on the in-between steps. So I'm going to jump back over to my other camera. And let's say that I have a skin line. And this is my skin line, right? And then my trimmer line, right? Now, what's actually happening to remove that trimmer line, after we've came up with the skin box and we've taken care of all that bulk, all we got left is this trimmer line, right? So we choose to do the open taper into that trimmer line. So here's our trimmer line, and we do the open taper. So I'm going to put OT, and I'm going to put trimmer, okay? What's actually happening in this open taper step, we are opening the taper, coming up here, and creating a line. Stop. What needs to happen for this to actually work out properly, for this to actually come out good, is you are going to actually have to make sure that this is the same on both sides, because you can't have a fade begin and you can't have guidelines begin without it being the exact same on both sides. So your open taper guidelines got to be open. You got to make sure it's good. If it's not, you're going to have a problem, okay? So we're gonna keep it rolling here. Let's go on back to what we're talking about. So in these in-between steps, what actually happens is we have it wide open, and at some point we're going to have to close it to get rid of this line, because this line was made with the trimmer. This cuts all the way closed is actually down to only 3 zeros, and a trimmer cuts at 5 zeros. So as long as we understand how this all works, we're never going to have a problem getting a line out. We're never going to be scared to put a line in. So as we come up with it open, we're going to come up all the way to there, put our line in, and then we're going to begin closing it. So I'm going to close it just 1 notch, and when I come up, 2 things are going to happen. I'm making sure that I'm keeping it flat, and the moment I begin closing this, I'm going to start keeping it on an angle, and I'm going to move up just underneath that previous guide. Let's move it down another notch, and we're going to put another line. We're going to move it down another notch, and we're going to put another line until we have this entirely closed, and you're going to wipe out this trimmer line. Now, I'm telling you about a trimmer line right now, but I'm also telling you this. On the in-between steps, this is all going to be the same. So whether you're working from a trimmer line, whether you're working from a half line or a number 1 line, all that is not going to change. Nothing is going to be different, okay? So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to get into the skin machine. I want to talk about that stuff too. And let's put this back up here. 1 1/2 guard. Okay. Beauty scent, I got you. What we're actually going to do The reason why we're not using a 1 1/2 guard is because the Andis blades balance really well. They don't actually need that. This blade goes from a 000 into a number 1, which means that there's going to be some overlap here. So that means that the 0 and the number 1 work together so effortlessly that you're never going to have any problem. And the 1 and the 2 are going to work together perfectly as well. So the 2 is a 1/4, the 1 is a 1/8, and this is a 1/16. So these are very close together. Let's see what Brandon's saying here. Let's drop him on the screen and let's move this one. Okay. If you're using Andis guards, you can blend a 1 open into a 2 closed if you hold the clipper on an angle. If your clipper is going straight up and down, it doesn't leave a line if the blade is flat. This is true. Exactly what I'm trying to say, exactly what I'm trying to get across. These all work well. They all balance perfectly. Now, if you just trust the process, it's actually going to work. So as we move through these guards, now with the wall guards, which I probably should have grabbed some for the show, but they're sitting in the other room and I'm not going to bother. But with the wall guards, the only difference is in between the 1 and the 2, they don't blend well because that 1 seems to cut a little bit shorter or that 2 seems to be a little bit longer. But no matter what's actually going on there, the distance is a little bit further apart. So that's what's actually happening here, and that's why we're struggling. Now on these guards, if you actually look at the 2 and the 1, they seem to be a lot closer in width together, and what you're actually getting out of your clipper is a lot more. You're getting a lot more of a throw than you might with some other clippers. Okay. Okay, good shears that don't break the bank. I am glad you asked, Ivy Mac. Good shears that don't break the bank. What's a good quality, good steel quality for everyday use? Perfect question. This is a great question, and believe it or not, these are actually not bad. These are not that expensive. These are a really cool shear. These are my favorite. But I'll tell you this. It doesn't really matter what brand of shear you... People are going to want to kill me for this, but it really doesn't matter what brand of shear you go with, as long as they are a 440C stainless steel or of a good enough quality and comfortable in your hand, because you're the one who's going to have to work with them. So I would just make sure that you get a chance to maybe try to hold some shears, get a feel for them. This is called a crane grip. So notice how it helps to keep my wrist straighter. All right. If you had 2 holes that were directly across, that would be an opposing grip. And that puts a lot more strain on your wrist and on your hands. So that's kind of the most ideal one for me is the crane grip. It feels the best. It feels nice and comfortable. Gustavo, welcome. I'm glad you came. And you can check out the beginning of this live feed. When you get a chance, you can go back to it. I can't believe we got 72 people in the house, man. That's so cool. We got 132 comments. Let's get them thumbs up going. So I want to take some Q&A now. If there's any questions about anything we just went through, let's talk about it right now, and let's see what we got going on in the comment section. So as we talked about it, these things all balance together. And if you actually think about what we're actually doing, let's jump over here. All right. What we're actually doing here is, let's say that this is skin, right? Let's look at the right side of this board. Okay. On the right side of this board, this is actually skin. All right. And this is a client with a number 2 on the top of his head. If I was to shave someone's entire head with a number 2, right? And then I came back with a 1 1/2 open, or if it was Andis, it would be a 1 open. I would not create a line, right? If I came into that and then I stopped, I wouldn't create a line. Let's see here. We'll go back to, when is it necessary? I love this question. But I got to change this font. What am I doing here? Let's get this thing straightened out. Go back to what it was supposed to be. Black, blue, black, maybe black. No, it makes more sense for it to be white. Save. Okay, when is it necessary to flick out? This is a great question. I hear this all the time, and I'm glad that you asked. This is just really a great question. It is never necessary to flick out. I'm being serious. You don't ever really have to flick out. If your equipment is set up properly, which I'm glad that you said this because this gives me an opportunity to talk about it because I didn't talk about it. We're about to get 80 people up in here, yo. I'm so stoked. This is awesome. Hey, man, I hope you guys are enjoying this broadcast. It was super, super expensive to set up all this stuff, man. And any donations that you guys give, man, it goes a long way. I'm going to teach a real school. We're going to do this every single Saturday night, and we're actually going to learn. We're going to crawl through every single technique that you guys want to call through. And if you guys leave comments down below what you want to see next week, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. All right. So whatever you're struggling with, you're going to learn. Whatever kind of Q&A you need, you're going to get. This is just like you're sitting in barber school, and I'm going to be able to bring you guys that in them live videos that I could play right here, right now. So thanks to all of this stuff. So back to what I was talking about. These clippers have to be set up properly in order to make it so that you don't have to actually flick out. And the important thing here is they need to be zero gapped, okay? So here's basically your three main things, right? The three main things that you got going. You have your electric shaver. This is the Bronze Series 9. You have your trimmer, and you have your clipper. These all have to balance. So the electric shaver, of course, cuts it down to skin, takes it all the way down, all right? The closest thing you got to skin is this trimmer right here. Now, if this trimmer isn't properly zero gapped, it's not going to be able to get that line out as good. So you want it as close as you can possibly get it to this top blade without going over, because you're going to cut your client. So these they got to be tight, they got to be close, and we want to get them in there. Okay. Next, we're going to have this taper we're going to have this in the closed position, and when this is in the closed position, this has to be as closely zero gap as it can be to get to this one, okay? So that these two can balance together and that it's not going to be a problem, all right? So if anybody's wondering what he's talking about, when I say flicking out, he's talking about using the C motion. And yes, there is times where you can use the C motion and it can speed you up. But what I'm telling you guys right now is if your equipment is balanced properly, you are not going to need to do any of that. You're going to be able to just get the fade out actually using the techniques that we talk about, making sure that we're holding it flat and we're not manipulating the length and we're not, messing with the length that the manufacturer's intended. Here we got another question here. What does the wall blade open up to? I hoped you wouldn't answer. I kind of hoped that nobody was going to ask this. I really did. Because technically speaking, I'm not looking at a box and I'm not using a wall at the moment. But I believe on the wall box or on the website, it says that they open up to a number 1. I myself have found that the masters seem to have a bigger throw. They have a larger amount of hair that I can just get through these fades kind of quickly with this master's blade. And I'm not saying anything negative about the wall blade because, I love the wall blades. The wall blades are fire. They're great. But supposedly the wall blade closes to a 000 and it opens to a number 1. That's the answer that you're probably going to get. Something I want to talk about quickly is you notice that we have the regular standard blade on the Andis, and if you actually notice the bend in the blade, that's actually useful for the C motion. We're going to get into that in the more advanced techniques, and there will be times where you can speed through your fades just a little bit quicker as we're doing the C motion and the C motion techniques. Okay, so let's see where we're at in our holding the clippers. Let's move on down to the holding of the clippers. Okay, so here we are, and I'm not telling you, Lady Libra, I'm not telling you that your person who's teaching you is wrong. I just want to get across that there's a lot of ways that you can teach this, and there's a lot of ways that people can learn this, okay? And nobody's wrong, nothing negative here. I just took a barber class the other day. He told me to flick out, so I remind myself and sing the song, look at the flick of my wrist. Yeah, you don't have to actually flick out. That's just something that people do to help them move quickly. And Brandon Isaiah, he says the wedge blade is fire. I absolutely agree with this. The wall wedge blade is definitely one of my favorite blades. The stagger tooth blade is also a fantastic blade, and so is the STD blade. They make a lot of great blades. The 1006 blade wasn't technically my favorite, but it was probably the closest you could get to the Andis blade. So That's kind of the answer to that. That's actually a really nice blade itself to use. So before we go further into this, let's actually talk about the way that we hold our clippers, because there's four different holds that you'll use for your clippers. Okay. So the first one is considered the handshake grip. If I was going to shake hands with you, right, this would be the same grip that I use. Okay. And the nice thing about the handshake grip is it leaves my thumb, unless you're left-handed, it leaves my thumb free to move the lever back and forth. And the other grip that we actually have is for cutting the top. So we'll just call this clipper position number 2 for cutting the top. But this is also kind of the pencil grip as well. The pencil grip is the grip that we'll use for clipper over comb. So you hold your clipper as though it's a big pencil, and here's your pencil grip. And the grip that we'll use for the C motion and the Andis Fade Masters really work great. I love the way the battery is weighted in the back, and it just really helps me scoop. I'm able to move. And oh yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, Wilder or Fury? What do we got? Who's picking who? Wilder or Fury? I want you guys on record saying that so-and-so is going to win. Okay. All right. Flicking out. Yes, this is great, Ivy Mac. Thank you for that. Flicking out is more of a style than a need. It's not a bad practice, but not everyone will truly need it. Absolutely true. I try to teach you guys the easiest ways that I could possibly think. I try to put myself in your position when you're new, when you're learning, and actually help you. Because if I tell you to go flick out, you go do it, you're gonna wind up having a problem, and it's just not something you need to do if you don't. Thank you so much, because I almost forgot to talk about this. This is a super important thing. I forgot my other light, didn't I? Yep, I forgot my other light, but that's cool because I actually have a light right here. Okay, a lot of you guys ask me about the lights on my station, and I put a link in the description to this one. It's under Super Dope Light. With regard to the way I cut hair, you guys seen the light on my station. I just turn it on. Well, this one actually has a charging port. It's got a micro USB. You could actually plug this in. You could put this on a tripod. And the other cool thing about this light is you could actually get some really nice pictures with it. You can dim it. You can turn it up. You can turn it down. And if you're cutting hair in a low light situation, you're just going to struggle. You're not going to be able to see your lines. You're not going to be able to fix your blends. And when a person walks out into the sunlight, you're going to start seeing a ton of imperfections that weren't there. So do yourself a favor. Get yourself a good light to keep at your station and use that light while you work. Okay. I got two. I got one is the Rgb light, more for like video stuff. Like I wouldn't tell you guys need it unless you're doing a lot of video work, which I do a lot of video work on the side. And that's why I have that one. But this one's like $30 and it's worth every penny. So one, you do better advertisement. You get better pictures. That's going to help your business grow. Two, you're going to do better work, period. So that's going to help your business grow. And three, you can actually plug it in and just leave it plugged in all day. And it's going to sit there and it's going to work just like that light on my station, which cost me like $150. So save yourself the money, get that cheap light, put that thing on a stand and make it work. All right. I'm going to catch up on some of these comments. Hey, you guys are saying Fury. There is inconsistency in the flick out method. Oh man, that's so cool. Thank you. I'm at work watching. I'm hiding by watching, and that's how much I love your channel, bro. Thank you so much, Angus Fox. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. This is so cool to have 72 people. I think I had 80 at one point, which is just crazy to me. I learned today something crazy about the channel that just made me smile from ear to ear. In 5 years, I will get to 1 million subscribers. In 5 years. Think about that. That's just crazy. Okay. Wall blade versus Andis fade blade close. Okay, this is a good question. The Andis fade blade is going to cut at 5 zeros. It's super sharp blade. It's not really a fun or practical blade to use every day, but it does have its purpose. Let's just say you're really struggling with the line. You really don't want to fight no more. You could pick up a fade blade, leave it on a clipper, and use it just to go to quickly. All right. And in my opinion, I would rather have the Andis regular blade or the Wall. We were talking about the Wall STD blade is definitely one of my favorite. The best trimmer for lineups, Kenny, I would tell you right now, it's hard to beat the Gold FX, and it's hard to beat the Gamma. These things are working really, really good. So the Gold FX and the Gamma are really going to put a nice tight line in. And as a matter of fact, the wall detailer, which I don't have on me, the wall detailer is a fantastic trimmer, but I don't get the most crispy lines out of it, but it does remove bulk well. So I actually use the wall detailer a lot of times right around the ear and stuff like that. It works really good. But the Gamma's kind of been my go-to for like making straight up killer lines. It makes really, really good lines. However, it does suffer from debulking, but I don't use it for debulking. We've talked about this a million times on the channel. We're going to use an actual 5-0 clipper for that. Clipper over comb question. Do you like to hold the comb vertical or horizontal? I like to hold the comb horizontal. As a matter of fact, let's jump back to this video, and I'll pop back into this. See, how cool is this that I get to teach just like this? I'm actually going to scrub through this video till I get to the clipper over comb. Okay, notice in the clipper over comb portion, I'm actually just using like a pinky to distance myself. I'm flicking out, I'm moving up, I'm moving away. But the most important thing about clipper over comb is not any of this. The most important thing is that you don't take too much at one time. You don't take too much at one time. So you just want to do a little bit, assess it, do a little bit, assess it. Now, I like to use a combination of vertical and horizontal to answer your question a little more thoroughly, but for the most part, I like to work horizontally. Now, if you're dealing with some longer hair, longer length, stuff like that, yeah, you're gonna wind up, needing to stay further away from the head. It gets that much harder. So if you see the way that I was working through that, I was just basically using a bit of tipping it out, cutting, and getting just a little bit out. So we're not entirely through phase 1 yet. See, I'm actually way behind on the comments. Jeez. All right, so let's see here. How long should I keep my clipper blade? Let's put this one up. How long should I keep my clipper blades on each guideline when working with the open taper until fully closed? Let's see what he means by that. Let's think. He means, how long can I keep each clipper blade on each guideline? Okay, so when you set your guideline, you're going to work your way down. And I like to set it with it open, and I like to begin moving it down slowly and closed, just in the closed position. So just to fully answer this question a little bit better, we got the notches on the side. Let's say I come up to here, right, in the full open position. When I close at one notch, I'm actually going to stay just below that, right? If I close in another notch, I'm going to stay just a little bit lower. So to further emphasize what I'm doing, I'm getting further away as I close this, and I'm keeping it on an angle, keeping it flat. That's kind of the name of the game right there, all right? So let's see here what we got. Totally agree. My GTX is my favorite. Actually, dude, the GTX was a killer trimmer. Yeah. Just to put this up here. Are you bracing your pinky on the back of the head? Yes, this pinky, even though I cut it off once, actually, I'm lying. I cut this pinky off once, but I never thought I'd have a use for the pinky, but I actually do. It actually helps me to keep my distance. So let's say that I decided that I want to leave the hair this long. I brace my pinky on the head and I cut. Now, another thing that I do with clipper over comb, which we are going to have a thorough lesson about clipper over comb. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to play my clipper over comb video. We're going to talk about it live, and you guys can talk about anything you want, and we can answer all the questions about clipper over comb we want. But I'm actually going to be careful. I don't just want to come in like a bull in a china shop with this clipper and hit this comb. This comb needs to be made of stone. This comb needs to be immovable object. So when you come in, it's a light touching of the comb. The good control in the wrist, the good pencil grip, and the good bracing is actually going to really help you to succeed in this. And listen, if you guys are getting a lot out of this lesson, if you guys are enjoying where we're going and you're enjoying what we're doing here, feel free to drop a little donation. It doesn't take much, even just a couple bucks, whatever helps. It helps to grow. I mean, like I said, this microphone alone and a lot of this stuff that I'm using to help bring this and this broadcasting software, everything costs money, man, and I'm just trying to make it happen over here. So, do you use the Rgb BGRC or any other detachable blades? Absolutely, absolutely. And as a matter of fact, if we jump back to the beginning of that video I've been showing you guys tonight, and I'm going to create, this is actually a video that I'm in progress working on, but I just threw together this little file to show you. But this is my Oster Octane, and there is no better, in my opinion, there is no better detachable, because I've already had an Oster Volt. It lasted me 10 years, and that pinky is the real MVP. So as a matter of fact, that is a 5.0, that is a detachable, and I will show you guys how. Beauty of Scent, she just asked, how do you donate? And that is a good question. There's two ways to donate. If you have Super Chat active, Super Chat is going. You guys can donate real quick, easy there. And the other way you can donate is if you just click the link in the description. There's a little link there that says donate. It just goes to my PayPal. So that's all that is. So if anybody wants to do that, it's always appreciated. Thank you so much. Let's see. This is the best channel. Oh, I like that. You know you're going to get featured with that one. Okay, this is the best channel on barbering. I've been in barber school for 10 months, and they didn't teach us anything. American College of Barbering. I don't want to put them on blast because I told you guys, it's not easy to train students to begin with. It's not easy to have a good school, and it's definitely not easy to hire good barbers. I seen a person who made a comment that barbers make a lot of money. And it's true. They can't be paid equivalent at barber schools. When they begin to become a good barber, it becomes really difficult to pay them enough to keep them at a barber school. Because if you're really, doing well with the trade, why are you going to stop and teach others unless it's really in your heart to do it? Which in my heart, it was never about money. It was always about just helping people out. So that's why I taught for so long. But again, I only did it part-time as well. Okay, man, I just started in the barbershop. Your videos helped me tremendously. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lady Libra. I really appreciate you guys showing some love, showing some support. It's comments like this that make it all worth it, man. It really is. It really is. So let's see here. Let's see here. We want to go back to working our way down. So we've been talking about the intro to the phase one of the fade. So let's actually cap this off. I want to finish what I was trying to explain to you guys as my, I got a super chat. Woo! $3. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. Let's get the sound. All right, you guys cover your ears because I'm about to hit a sound effect. We just got another super chat in the house. Ready? I don't know if that was loud. I can't actually hear it on my end, but thank you so much. Okay. So this guy, he just asked, do you flick out? I don't know if he was here earlier, but we did cover that. So if you have to, when this broadcast ends, you can go back because the information is still going to be available to you. So let's go back to what I was trying to talk about. I'm going to go back to resume this video for like the 10th time today. And this is actually a complete phase one. Okay, so what phase one means to me, we had already talked about the clipper over comb. So basically what had happened here in phase one was we took the 1 1/2. We knocked down the bulk. Now, why did we use the 1 1/2 to knock down the bulk, right? We used oh, thank you so much. We got another super chat. I appreciate you guys. About to hit that bell. Hit that bell. All right. So why did we use the 1 1/2 on this clipper? And if you guys remember the beginning of the lesson, it's because the width of the comb is the same as the length I would get from a 1 1/2. So if I put this one on and I open it, that's roughly a 1 1/2, right? The width of these two is nearly identical, which means I could take this and I could jam it into somebody's head and I could cut whatever stuck out and I would only cut it down to a 1 1/2. This is why we use the 1 1/2 or the number 2 for clipper over comb. So let's jump back to the video and let's finish out phase one. Okay, so where we are in this is we're knocking out the bulk, and then we go in, we put our skin line in, and then we go in and we clipper over comb. So we're connecting the sides to the top, and we're removing all the bulk from the bottom. And the last part of phase one is actually about to begin. You gotta make sure that you get through phase one. Oh, we're not getting any sound effects? Hold up, we're gonna make sure that we do. That's why I got the sound effects muted. Hold up, I owe somebody an air horn. Okay, I don't know how loud that was. I can't. I can't hear it. So I see that my mic is a little hot too. I'm gonna turn this down. All right, so yeah, we're good. Did it work that time? Chad Volker's in the house. This is a man who cuts hair with me, and he's just an awesome dude. I'm lucky to have him. All right, so the part that I wanted to show you guys is we're actually going to do a little shear over comb, because what I basically want to do in this phase one's time, I want to use some scissor over comb. I want to connect the sides to the top perfectly. I want to make sure that my skin line and all my bulk is removed perfectly, and then I want to take it all the way down to the skin with the electric shaver. And that's going to be the end of phase one. And let's see here. I'll put this comment up. Friend of mine says his barber will only fade or blend with clipper over comb. Why would a barber not use guards? Is clipper over comb easier for them? This is actually a great question, man. I'll tell you why. And more than likely, his barber is probably a little bit older, possibly an older school barber, because technically speaking, a lot of the old school barbers do not use blades at all, guards at all. They use detachables. It's how they learned. They use a lot of wrist flipping, and they use a lot of clipper over comb. I actually have a barber in my shop who cuts just like that. It's a tough way to cut hair, especially if you're new. I wouldn't advise it. Damn, we got 81 people in the house. Let's go. Let's get some thumbs up. That's just so awesome, man. But now we're going to talk about the last part of phase one, and I'm going to open it up to total Q&A mode, and we're going to go to town for the last 10 minutes of the show. We're going to go to town. But this is the part that I want to talk about. If you can execute phase one, this sets you up for the easiest possible future in the fade. This is going to make it so easy for you. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to begin moving up into that line. That's the trimmer line or the 5-0 line. And notice how this is in real time. I didn't speed this up. I'm just flicking out a little bit. As soon as I get close to that line, I begin flicking out. And it's super important that you do that. A lot of people back in the day, and a lot of people who are teaching, when they get to that part, let's just say that we are moving into the line. So here's your trimmer line. I'm going to put a T there for the trimmer line, and I'm moving this into it. A lot of people used to run this straight into the line. And that sucks, because now you're going to have to find a way to get that line out. But this line's a lot easier to get out. If this is down to 5 zeros, if this is all the way down to 5 zeros, this is going to be such a small transition, because in essence, we're trying to create the smoothest transition from skin as we come up into whatever length we're going into, right? So this is going to be super easy. We push it as hard as we want. We keep it flat. And as soon as we get out here, we begin flicking. And another technique you can use is moving down with the clipper. And again, I encourage you guys to click that link in the description when this video is done and when it's over with, because I actually wrote this entire phase one out, and it was a lot of work. And I'm going to do that every week in my show prep. So in my show prep, I'm going to actually write out the syllabus. It's going to be down in the link below. Just go all the way beyond the affiliate links. And, if you guys can't afford to donate, that's super cool. I still want you here. I still love you. And if you can't donate, but you do need to buy something, if you buy something with my Amazon links, that helps the channel. If you buy something from Gamma and you use my code, that helps the channel. If you use something from 614 Barber Supply, who can deliver in 2 to 3 days for free with my code and get you a little discount going. So that's pretty awesome there. Geez, we're like moving down the list. I'm like way down here. Okay, Ace of Spades. Gold FX all day. I totally hear you, dude. They're a great trimmer. They're just never been my favorite company. I've always had a problem with Babyliss, but I gotta admit, these guys are turning. I think they're turning the corner on some things. I think if they get their logistics in order, they're probably going to have a lot more satisfied suppliers. And let me ask you guys this. We're gonna go into our Q&A here. Is there any questions about the stuff that we just talked about? Because next week, I want to get into phase two, okay? Next week, I want to get into phase two. And phase two is actually going to begin the blend, all right? You still like the fast feeds? I'm about to buy some and zero gap them. Yo, that is a great question. I love the fast feeds. I will always love the fast feeds. And yeah, nothing could change my mind on them. They're a fantastic clipper. It's just I've moved into using cordless, and I really am enjoying the Andis Masters at the moment. Okay, this guy's asking my opinion on the Kimi. The Kimi 1986. I guess that's the 1990 model knockoff. I've never used it, man. So I really shouldn't render an opinion on it. I'm sure it's probably decent. The other ones were okay, but I'm not really a big Kimi fan myself. Moving with the, I pepper the corners with my shaver. Awesome technique. Yeah, you know what? I didn't even really mention that, but that's actually a great point too. So if my phone was my electric shaver, what he's talking about is he's using the corners and he's tapping it and he's moving it into it or possibly coming down with it. A variety of these techniques really will help you get that smooth blend from skin into that length. So that's exactly what you want to do. A good technique to use, and you're going to struggle less. And another thing that I may not have mentioned is do not move on from any of these steps until they're all done perfectly, because these all are built like a pyramid. And if you mess up one of them, it's only going to make it harder when you get further into the video. This was a genius idea. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Look, I'm trying to bring something new to this. Like, I see a lot of people doing tutorials. I see a lot of people putting a lot of work in. I think it's dope. I think it's helpful. And I would like to shout out some of those people that are doing that. So some of my other favorite YouTube confidants are Rum Barber, Ant the Barber, Big Al's Barbershop, all these dudes, and MMA Barber. You guys know I had him on the channel last week. I hope to get all of them on the show, and we're going to start bringing guests on. So the first guest is going to be, was MMA Barber. That was last week. But now you guys can see the show is like really rolling, and we're going to really bring some cool stuff to it. So yeah, I'm hoping to get Ant. I hope to get all these other guys on there, talk to them, let them bring you some of their experiences. And Ron Legend also is another great YouTuber as well. So yeah, I'm trying to give you guys something that you can actually Q&A with, and we can just go back and forth and figure this all out so that you guys can really, really learn. And doing it live is just awesome. And in the future, I'll be dropping all those other videos, and we can go over portions of them here so that we can really iron out whatever you might be struggling with. We got Zach guide for a regular fade. This guide, what he's talking about here, we can go through this real quick. I'll just do this quickly. What he's talking about here is this little guide that I got going on here. And I'm going to move him over here and that over there. And what you actually can see here is we're going to move our way through. So if I was to tell you guys how I actually do this, and I'm going to try to go quick because I don't want to waste too much more time. The show is about to end in just a couple more minutes. It's only an hour long, but next week we will resume. So trimmer line, that's my trimmer line, right? I'm going to cut that. That's 5 zeros. Underneath, I'm going to do skin. That's when I'm going to use my box, use that peppering technique, all that stuff that we talked about. Next step, open taper. Okay, so here's your open taper, and that's your closed taper. Open it. I'm going to close it slightly, and as I'm moving down, I'm going to begin closing it, keeping it on an angle, and keeping it flat. These are super key. The very next step, very simple. Open half guard, or 1/16. Open half guard, same thing. Begin with it open, begin closing it down. Each time you open it, make sure it's the same on both sides when you set your guideline, and make sure that you're doing the exact same thing. And you guys can pretty much see where this is going to go. One open, one close, 1 1/2 open, 1 1/2 close. Okay? So this guide will work for any kind of fade. Let's say that you are starting, with a client who wants only a number 1. We'll jump up to the number 1 part of the scale. Okay? Let's see here. Let's drop this comment and let's read it. Thank you for everything you do. Can you please do a cosmetology crossover? Didn't learn men's hair in school. Can you do men's hair tutorial with shears and explain why you do this and that? Absolutely, because my friend Gina, I hope I'm saying that right. Could be Jenna. My friend, I was exactly like you. I was originally a cosmetologist, and I eventually went back and I got my barber license. But even with my cosmetology school, I really wasn't given too much. I only wish that there was resources like YouTube when I did this. I went to school in 2003. I guess YouTube was around, but we really didn't have access to it like that. I like this question that we got right here. This next one. Q&A is very beneficial, especially for myself. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you tuning in, dude. I really do. Awesome to have you guys. Let's see here. Do you ever fade with a detachable? Why or why not? Listen, there's barbers who will fight me on this. They will go like crazy to say like you should, or you shouldn't. The way I see it, and I know a lot of people feel like me. Detachables are so great at saving you time. So I know that detachables are like $300, right? And a good detachable, $200 to $300. These cordlesses, or you can get one for $100, but it's gonna save you so much time. So I don't fade with detachables, but I debulk with detachables. Whoa, MMA's in the house. King Troll, what's going on? Good to see you, man. There's a man who likes to fade with detachables sometimes, and he has done it on his channel a couple times. And if you guys want to check that out, you can check it out. But I really don't do it in my practice. So, hey, look at that. We got 72 people and 72 thumbs up. What's good? That's awesome. Actually, let's talk about this left-handed Lady Libra. That's some alliteration. Okay. I'm left-handed. I still feel a little awkward on razoring. Can you do a video on razoring? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? There's actually a lot of people out there who feel like left-handed people are the best barbers on earth. And I think part of the reason is because their thumb is so close to this lever. I don't really know why, but I've known a couple left-handed barbers and they are really, really good. I don't know if it's just the people that I ran into. I'm sure there's some bad ones out there too. But definitely you can learn how to cut hair with the left hand pretty good. But I can definitely do a nape razoring tutorial if that helps you out. I'm putting this up. Why you gonna start this? Yo, party people. MMA. I'm just letting you know I'm gonna put you up in here and him. You read that, right, MMA? What you got to say? The Octanes are killing those Supras. I believe them Supras are gonna be dead on MMA in a year, but it's all good because he's gonna be going shopping and he'll be buying a new one. No big deal. Oh, we got Anti-Socialist as a lefty too. I see what's going on here. You guys are ganging up on me. So, all right, you guys. If there's any further questions on the lesson today, because I'm convinced that if you can get to phase one, if you can get through phase one of the fade without any struggle, which I know that we're gonna have to revisit this in the future, but if you can actually get through phase one without any struggle, you are not going to have, here he goes. You're not gonna have any problem doing a fade or going any further. Phase one is probably one of the hardest to master in my little master class that I'm teaching here. So we're going to revisit that topic. We're going to talk more about it. I know that not everybody's going to be able to get this, but some advice that I would give you guys is it's a big difference between talking about it and doing it. And you guys have heard about it from me and seen me do it. But as soon as you can take this information that I'm giving you guys and jump into a haircut, follow it step by step. I'm going to chop that video up pretty soon and drop it in a real easy to follow format. And, you guys can use that to help following along. But I got plenty other videos that you can follow along with other than that. But this is where you're going to get your theory. This is where you're going to get your Q&A. And this is where you're going to get, to probably learn a little bit better in an interactive way. And that's why these are awesome. And I need you guys to tune in like every Saturday night, yo. So it looks like, he says he noticed that lefties are good too. I agree. I haven't met too many bad lefty haircutters. I don't know if that's really a thing or not, but yeah, there definitely is some good left-handed people out there that are doing this thing. So, okay, you guys, it has been an hour. We're going to begin venturing into phase two. I still didn't get much time to talk about scissor over comb and how important that is, and I have videos that are going to help us to talk about that, so I'll probably download some of them. We'll go through certain portions that are pertinent, and we'll talk about those in the week to come. And again, If you guys choose to buy anything with my links, that helps to support the channel. If you guys choose to use a Gamma product and you put in the code Eddie, you're going to get a discount. If you're searching for any other products, try 614 Barber Supply. They're a fantastic group of dudes. I actually hope to get them on the channel one of these days, and I'm going to get them to move in. So other than that, I really want to thank all of you guys for stopping in, hanging out, listening to me. And this is the YouTube Barber Academy. I am Mr. Eddie Barber, and grab me a couple little thumbs up on your way out the door. If you felt like you learned something valuable, hit that thumb up. Shout out to everybody in here in the chats. This is what we're going to do now. YouTube Barber Academy. I respect these classes. You're going to do one on the shear work. I sure am. We're going to crawl through each one of these. And as a matter of fact, before I go, let me pull up this note real quick and I'll show you guys. It's crazy how much writing I've been doing to try to set up these show notes, because when I come here, I want to come prepared. I want to come with the flame and help you guys out. Yeah, the way I got it set up right now, phase 2, you should be only ready to move into phase 2 once phase 1 is perfectly done. You got to know about clipper over comb, stuff like that. So we're going to talk a little bit more about each one of those techniques next week. We will keep the ball rolling. So I'm really grateful. Fury going to get the dub. I see that. All right, you guys. Spread the word. Share these lives, man. Help me out a little bit. I love you all. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for so many thumbs up. This is the best live feed I've ever had. I had over like 80 people in there. So much love to you guys, and I will see you guys next week. I'm actually out this time. Peace.